It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced, white-knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs. Get over to Joe's today for the second week of the Malvern Bank Slick Track Series. And you may be thinking, well, I missed out on week number 1, so I can't get involved. You couldn't be more wrong. You could still get involved this Tuesday night for the Slick Track Series. The first 3 to 4 weeks, anybody could still get involved, and then they're going to start really. Then the points are going to kind of start pacing you out, but you still have time to regain the points you may have missed if you missed that first week. And we appreciate everybody that came over to the first week and hung out with everybody over at Joe's Karting. We were over at Quaker Steak and Lube doing the first of what is going to be hopefully many live shows and interviewing drivers from around the area. We sat down with several Eagle Raceway drivers, a couple of track champions, and had a great time. You're going to hear those interviews coming up in 2 and 3 today.
Yeah, we learned some disgusting stuff too.
Like
you should smell your earwax.
Oh, that
to see
was
how sick you
well.
are.
That's going to be Chad Cook. You're going to want that's coming up in a couple of weeks. That's just weird. So make sure you listen to that coming up in a couple of weeks. This coming Tuesday night, we're going to be back at it again. This time we're going to interview some I-80 Speedway track champions. We've got Sean Harker, Shane Stutzman, Jacob Brown, who I'm really surprised Jacob's coming out. He's not one to really talk on the microphone. He's kind of a quiet, calm guy. I'm really excited to have him come out. First time we'll have him on the show, and I think it's going to be the first time I'll ever get to interview him, even though I'm at I-80 all the time. And then we're going to have, let's see, who else has confirmed? Ryan Jenkins, modified track champion, is also going to be there. So, and Luke Ramsey, the hobby stock track champion, has confirmed that he'll be there. Find the Facebook page, the event page on our Facebook page, and you can follow along with the scheduled planned events. You're welcome to come down, meet and greet with the drivers. We have a fan mic that we're going to have set up this time. And if you've got a question you want to ask the drivers, you're welcome to come up. We've got nice speakers set up so that you can hear us. We're going to get the feedback issue corrected. I've already got it figured out in my head of what was causing that, so we should have that much better. So this coming Tuesday, it's going to be round number 2 of the live interviews featuring I-80 Speedway track champions and drivers, along with a couple of other drivers throughout the area that weren't able to make it last week for the Eagle Raceway one. So should be a full night of interviews, plus all-you-can-eat wings at Quaker Steak and Lube.
That's not included in the admission price, which is free.
Correct. Yeah, it's free to hang out. It costs you a little bit of money to get the all-you-can-eat wings, but it's a hell of a deal. And I make sure, I hope you guys come out to that. After, hang out for an interview or two, then go over and do some racing at Joe's Karting. It's a fun night over at Quaker Steak and Lube and Joe's Karting. I want to say a big thank you to both of them for being great sponsors of the front stretch for so many years. Dirk, the first elimination race of the 2019 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs is in the books. 4 drivers were eliminated as of Sunday. Weren't surprised about Eric Jones. He was pretty much going to have to be a win and you're in, and he was knocked out of the race early on.
Yeah, he was not in the I'm going to win category after just a few laps. The whole race was very similar to last year's in oddball things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Last year there was a big pile up on one of the restarts. This time Chase Elliott piled himself up. Just I have no idea where his mind went.
I couldn't believe it either. I mean, I'm standing there watching the race, and he goes sailing into turn 1 and just slams into that wall. And my hand was on my head, and I go, I can't believe he just did that, because I, like everybody else, thought, well, he just gave away the best chance he's got at a win. I mean, he was dominant all race long, incredibly fast car, and he just gave it away.
Well, and the fact that he came back and won shows exactly how dominant he was.
And he hit head on with the tire barrier retaining wall. I mean, that's not a heavy impact like if it was a concrete wall or a safer barrier, but that's not a light impact.
He had to come in and, a lot of duct tape and a little bit of hammer work, but the whole thing, when you sat there and watched it, it was like, what did I just watch? Well, I don't know. I mean, he locked up the front tires.
Yeah.
But why he didn't lift off the brake and just turn the wheel?
Yeah. They're carrying a lot of speed. What they keep saying, that is the fastest point on the racetrack.
Right, because they don't use the chicane for the restart.
Yeah.
That little chicane. They actually come out of turn 4 on the oval.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they got a pretty good run out there. It's actually not the fastest part. They're going faster
I would think they would be going faster through the curve, through the corner.
Down through the back straightaway. When they come out in turn 1 and go down and head into the chicane on the back, they're going faster there. But as far as a restart goes with that very sharp turn coming up with the Roval's turn 1, it's 2 years in a row it's happened.
I thought it was really funny that after that happened, Brad Keselowski was always in the top 4 that was restarting after that happened. And boy, did he hang back.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was the one that did it last year. Everyone piled in. He ruined his car. He ruined a lot of cars. A lot of guys ruined their cars on that. And then he wants Chase to do it. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to play it safe.
Yeah. I got to turn up here. 20 mile an hour is good enough for me.
Yeah, I'll make it up in the next couple of turns. I'm just going to make the corner. But that was a heck of a race. And, I was talking about Eric Jones obviously getting eliminated. Kurt Busch never really had much of a car. Didn't really sit up there very much throughout the day. Didn't finish in the top 10 in either of the stages. Ended up finishing 20th on the day. He was eliminated. And Ryan Newman was eliminated. Boy, that was a crazy run to the last couple of laps for as many points between him, Eric Almirola, and Alex Bowman trying to battle for that last position to move on.
Yep, and now Bowman's had 2 races in a row where he's had some conflict with another driver, so it'll be interesting to see if he even gets close to moving on after where he's sitting with these 2 other guys.
So Eric Jones finished 40th on the day. Kyle Busch, rough day for him, ended up retiring early with suspension issues about 10 laps before the race completed. Daniel Suarez, 34th. Daniel Hemrick, 33rd. Ryan Newman, 32nd. And Newman was another car that was eliminated. Kurt Busch, 20th. Denny Hamlin ends up moving on because he has so many bonus points, but he finished 19th. That's kind of some of the drivers that were typically up front. And like you mentioned, Chase Elliott ended up picking up the win. 9th in stage 1, 2nd in 1 stage 2, and ended up winning the day, leading 35 laps.
And that was off of
the series high.
About a 15th or a 17th place start, I think he had?
19th.
19th, okay. A little further back. Yeah.
Alex Bowman came home runner-up. Kevin Harvick in 3rd. Clint Bowyer in 4th. Brad Keselowski top 5. William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, and Jimmy Johnson, and then Joey Logano rounded out your top 10. So that's the way the Charlotte Roval rolled out. I want to say a big thank you to Rick Havenbridge of Wealth Partners for presenting the Pick'ems contest. The 5-week contest wraps up today, and our good friends Lori and Bob are tied for the points lead at 208 points. Sitting in 3rd is a good friend of ours and BMOD driver throughout the area, Jim Blazina. Top 3 running right there. We'll talk more about that coming up in turn number 4, but I wanted to say a big thank you to Rick Havenbridge of Wealth Partners for bringing us the Pick'ems contest once again. We're really happy to be partnering with Rick Ware Racing coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be working closely with them for the next contest and getting the experience of a lifetime. So we're going to be switching teams away from Starcom Racing and going over to Rick Ware.
Well, and the neat part is Rick Ware's organization usually fields 3 cars. Mm-hmm. So you're going to get to meet a couple different drivers, and they run a variety of drivers through. We met a few at Kansas last time, and I've met a few of them before because they end up with J.J. Ailey in the car. They've got Bailey Curry that runs for them. I can't even think of some of the other guys that they get in there, but they do get Spencer Boyd's been in some of their equipment this year, so they've got a variety of drivers. So you're going to get some different meet and greets. You can go through tech with some different cars, so you can see maybe if they do a little bit different setup on different cars. You can see what that does as they go through tech, or they might all be set up exactly the same. I don't know. But Rick was actually a truck racer back when I worked in the truck series. So he's been around a while, and he's making a go of it. He doesn't do start and parks. His drivers get out there, and they try and get every lap completed. And I think they've had a best finish. I think they had somebody in like 5th place at one of the races earlier this year. So they get competitive sometimes.
In the 5-week contest, there is 9 points separating the top 4. 5th place is just 14 points behind. And then from there, top 10, 10th place is only 20 points behind. So missed pick, blown engine, something early on in the race, they could jump up a couple of spots, and all of a sudden they're in the at least winning tickets to go to the race, courtesy of Kansas Speedway. By the way, don't forget, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, kansaspeedway.com or call 866-460-RACE. That's going to do it for us. Turn 1 coming up just around the corner. In turn number 2, we're going to sit down with Sport Mod track champion Gunnar Pike at Eagle Raceway, and then we'll come back with Jeff Ware, the hobby stock track champion at Eagle Raceway. We'll come back in turn number 4, preview Dover, talk about some of the interviews coming up in on Tuesday night at Quaker Steak and Lube for the I-80 interviews, and we'll get you all set for the contest today. We're going to take a break. We'll be back on the front stretch.
Red Oak Fabrication is excited to announce they're expanding their powder coating business, which means quicker turnaround times at the same great price. Get all the benefits of a powder-coated chassis for just $275 for a bare frame. Ask Jordan about special pricing for large and small projects today. Email Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com. Located at the intersection of Highway 34 and 48 in Red Oak, Iowa, or at redoakfabrication.com. A beautiful and durable service is just down the road.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
The family with the 8-foot stainless grill is in. Bachelorettes hooting at the drivers are in. The tightwad dad doing a free parking fist bump.
Oh, yeah.
He's in. Nana with 6 speeding tickets. She's in. Cornhole aficionados and NASCAR newbies in and in. The Hollywood Casino 400 NASCAR playoff race at Kansas Speedway. Sunday, October 20th. Tickets at kansasSpeedway.com. You in?
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 2. It's time for another Red Oak Fabrication interview. It's going to be that time of the year. I know it's going to be getting a little bit cold outside, so make sure you stock up on your Carhartt gear. Great October specials coming at you. Go to redoakfabrication.com/Carhartt for more information. redoakfabrication.com/Carhartt. You own any Carhartt, Gunnar?
No, I do not.
We're going to have to make adjustments for that. Red Oak Fabrication located in Red Oak, Iowa, on the corner of Grimes. And I don't know what the other street is, so I'm going to have to edit that part out. Sitting at Quaker Steak and Lube.
Just drive up and down Grimes until you see it.
Yeah, it's a inconspicuous building with a giant Carhartt sign on the side of it. You can't miss it.
Yeah, and a bunch of blasted people out front.
Yeah, I got some sandblasted people. By the way, Gunnar, you have sandblasted Sport Mod, don't you? Powder coated?
Yeah, probably going to have to end up sending one over.
RedOakFabrication.com for more information on how you can get great powder coating and how you can take advantage of their great specials for Carhartt specials in the month of October and November. Sitting at Quaker Steak and Lube, doing the first of what is going to be many live interviews over the next couple of Tuesdays. If you're sitting down on a Tuesday night and you're looking for something to do.
Or if you're looking for all-you-can-eat wings.
Absolutely. Come over to Quaker Steak and Lube. They'll get you taken care of. We're talking with the Sam's Club Sport Mod Track Champion, number 25, Gunnar Pike, at Eagle Raceway. And Gunnar, I got to tell you, I don't know if a couple of laps to go in that Sport Mod feature, you thought you'd be sitting here tonight, but fortune leaned in your favor, and you are the track champion at Eagle Raceway.
Yeah, beginning of the night, I really didn't expect it. You know, there was 7 points, and it's hard to beat Sean by 7 points, and or 7 spots on the racetrack. And after the heat race and all that stuff went down, put it back together, and it was pretty good. But then I seen he went up in smoke, and I'm like, well, we still have a shot here, and here we are.
Hey. Yeah, coming into that night, I think Stan Caesar on the microphone along with Dirk Houston. Stan, I think Gunnar had a 7-point disadvantage to Sean Harker going into that night.
Yeah, and you know, looking at something like that, you got to know that the odds are probably against you going in, because even if Harker's not going to win, he's a very consistent guy, and the big picture is it's awful hard for him not to run in the top 5, even if he doesn't win. You know, on a bad night, he's looking at a 4th or 5th place finish. And I'd have to say, in probably 30 years of racetrack announcing, that had to be the most off the charts point championship final night, last 2 laps to decide the whole banana there.
that's right at the top of the list.
Hey, going back to your original point, 7 points going into the night at 7 spots. You could win the race, and what Stan was talking about there, to expect Sean Harker to finish outside the top 8 would have been a little bit unrealistic according to his season. I think you'd had a very solid season, which is why you came within 7 points of him on that final night. But he'd had a typical Sean Harker year, very consistent. Even when he was involved in accidents, he still managed to get a top 10, top 8.
Yep.
Yeah. My deal is I cannot have a very consistent year all the time. We're either, top 3, top 4, or we're, on the hook, or blown motor, something stupid like that. So when we went into last night, we seen how close we were. I was pretty happy. Just 7 points. That's accomplishment itself.
There's something to be said for that, though. Having those wins. It's not everybody that can win. A lot of guys can have a consistent season and be close all the time, but not pick up the wins. The wins are a little extra special, and I think sometimes the point standings and the way the points are distributed really don't reward the winners, quote-unquote winners, for being winners as opposed to finishers.
Yeah, because what is it, 1 point from first to second?
Yeah.
And I think I've won 3 or 4 races there this year where Sean finished second, and, you can't make up no ground.
You have one bad night, and when you're only gaining 1 point per spot, it's awful hard to make up. If, say, for instance, you happen to have a fallout or taken out in a crash or something like that, you might lose 15 points in a night, and 1 or 2 points a week, you could finish in front of him by a couple positions for 7 weeks in a row, and that's how long it would take up to gain those 15 points back.
Going into that night, again, we talked about a 7-point disadvantage. Very solid night for you. You and Sean were making your way through the field nice and smoothly, as you guys have required to do. I think you guys started in the same row together, right?
Yeah, because I don't think he made invert that night. And I had to run the B, to stay in the B.
No, you had to run the C that night.
Yep. Yeah.
You had to come out of the C that night. So you had to come out of the C because you wrecked in your heat race.
Yeah, that was one of the nights where it rained before the races, and go out there and it's just a sloppy mess. And I still have yet to figure out what that guy was doing, but it's part of it. You have that one guy.
But maybe you think of it though. Maybe that's what helped you win the championship.
Yeah. After that, I wasn't a very happy camper whatsoever.
So you come out of the C, you win the C. You come out of the B, you win the B. Starting in the back of the A, you've got to get 7 or 8 spots better than Sean Harker. And Sean eventually takes the lead with probably
9 laps to go.
Looks like he's got this championship sewed up. They come to take the white flag. And it seems to be as soon as he crossed that start-finish line, the smoke blew.
Yeah.
And that engine started coming apart.
About 5 or 6 laps to go, I finally me and Lance were racing there for second, and I happened to look up, and when Harker got off the gas and got back on, I seen a puff of smoke. I'm like, that's blow-by usually.
We noticed some smoke previous to that. We thought it might have been tire smoke or something broke in the rear end or something, and thought you might still have the chance, so the white flag falls, going down the backstretch, the thing erupts, caution flag. If the caution flag hadn't come out, Harker might have limped it around for a half a lap and still got it done. But when that yellow flag came out,
now we got to go back to the last completed lap, which you actually fell back a couple of positions.
Yeah, I jumped the cushion 3 and 4, and I had a few guys get by me, so it really worked out.
So now we're sitting in the booth and we're talking about this. 8 positions better is where you got to finish. Sean Harker regains the lead because you had taken it from him as they came on the white flag lap.
Yep.
We go back to the last completed lap, which I believe you went back to third. Yep. Boardman went back in front of you in second, and Harker went back to the lead. We went under caution for a few laps, and Harker's just nursing that baby.
Yeah.
And then we go back to green, and it's a dog. I mean, it's got no power left.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to get by him, and it takes you the better part of that first lap to find your way to be able to get the car up and going and get by him.
Yeah.
And then it's how many positions can he hold on to in that last lap at Eagle Raceway, that tiny little track.
And going down the backstretch between the white flag and the checkered, it just finally said no mas.
She let go, and I believe he gave up that final position right at the line. And you end up being the track champion. At what point did you realize that you were the track champion?
I was just more happy about winning the race. I really didn't think about points. In that infield pit report you guys got over there, he came up and said, I got him by 1. And I'm like, oh, well, hell, I kind of forgot all about it.
You know something? Even if you wouldn't have picked up the championship, you would have had to feel good about what you did. Coming from the C to the B, to finally winning it, doing everything that you could do. Then it was in the hands of how far back did Sean finish. And no disrespect to Sean, who's a great competitor and probably one of the toughest guys in that sport mod class. You know, he's done it all. He enjoys that. It's in his comfort zone, in his financial zone, and he likes to win. And he's found a home there, and it's like I said, it would be no disgrace finishing second to Sean, but at the same time, it's even that much more when you happen to pull it off and beat him. So
yeah, and I've already lost a point championship to Sean front second, and I wasn't gonna let it happen.
You've lost enough times.
Yeah,
you finished second enough times. It's not bad, but you're just done doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing a night at the races, and just so exciting. And I know that was a big goal for you, was to win a track champion, because you'd really considered at the end of last year if you should move into the A-Mods or not.
Yeah, we planned on it, and just looking at everything financially, it's hard to do. It really is. Those guys are, $45,000, $50,000 race cars, and I'm running an older sport mod right now, and it's still competitive. An old motor and all that. If I knew if I go to A-Mod, we're gonna have to have a new car, new motor, all of that. So figured we'd just stick in the sport mods one more year and see what we could do.
And probably one of the most competitive classes out there.
Yeah, it's a very tough class. I mean, you get 40 cars, 35, 40 cars at Eagle, and starting 5th row. I never thought it'd be so hard. 5th row in a heat race, 6th row in the feature. It's difficult. It really is, and especially with how narrow the track is in the heat race, and even in the feature sometimes Roger goes out and does his little whatever you want to call it, and
when he farms the track.
Yeah. And it's just narrow, and it's hard to pass. One night it's bottom feeder, and the next night it's at the wall. And some nights it's just one lane. And I mean, nothing away from Roger, not taking nothing away, but it's just difficult.
He could throw you for a curveball, and I think that's what gives Eagle just a little bit more character, is that it can be difficult at times to figure out what he's doing.
Well, yeah, and sometimes when he does that, it really throws a curveball at what you're going to do, because how are you supposed to set up for that? I mean, in all reality, when you don't know what he's going to go out and do and what the track's going to do. So, yeah, it's challenging for sure.
You just mentioned it, that you were possibly considering, moving to A-Mod in 2019. You decided to stay in the sport mods, ended up winning the track championship at Eagle. So moving to A-Mods in 2020?
To be honest, I really don't know what our plan is. We put the car up for sale, and we've had a lot of interest in it, but part of me wants to stick in the sport mods, and a part of me wants to move up and become a better race car driver just in general, because I know racing with those guys will teach me a lot, and develop good habits. The sport mod class actually kind of develops bad habits. I really think it does, because you're always on defense. I mean, you really are. You're never really can just go, only on certain nights.
I think though, you can afford to pick and choose your spots a little bit more because of your ability, maybe over some of your competitors in the sport mod class, where that A-Mod deal down there, it's like 110% for all 20 laps.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not, you're going backwards.
Yep, and I've been told by a lot of mod guys, you got to go 110% every night, and you got to make sure your equipment is ready every night, because if it's not, those guys are going to take you to school and eat you up. So
most certainly, that's exactly the way it is.
So you mentioned it, that you'd kind of put your sport mod up for sale. That's a hell of a sport mod. I mean, you bought that. That's a used chassis from Ryan Jenkins, right?
Yeah, that's one of his old BMS cars.
And I mean, once you've sat down in that thing, you've been incredibly fast. I think you bought it mid-season last year?
Yeah, after I wrecked my Harris car.
At
Eagle, that big one down there in 3. And Yeah, it was good all the time ever since we put that thing together. And we put that thing together in 3 days from a bare frame, and it was good right out of the box. And then about middle of this year, I started kind of tinkering with some stuff, kind of got out of my comfort zone, tried some new shocks, tried new rear end. And it was okay, but it wasn't nothing to write home about.
Ryan's dad said he would buy that on the spot if it ever became available.
Yeah, I know. That's what Ryan was telling me not too long ago.
And down the road at I-80, you had some pretty good nights, but inevitably the points championship ended up slipping away from you after a couple of accidents and a blown engine.
Yeah, we were second, until about July, and we ran one night out there, a non-sanctioned show, and ran second, and then the next following Friday out there, we actually grenaded a motor, and I haven't finished race there since. Like one night I was leading at I-80, straight away ahead, like we were really good that night, and fan went through the radiator, and bottom radiator bracket broke. And then the next night, me and Devin Peterson, he was leading and I was running second. It was going to be a good race, and got hot. It was just, I can never seem to overcome nothing there.
Yeah.
So what can you do? Just keep digging, I guess.
Well, I know we kind of touched on a little bit plans for 2020 as they stand now. We're not going to hold you to anything, but what are your thoughts for 2020?
I really don't know yet. I don't even know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm really leaning towards Corning, but this whole mod deal, it's really on top of my head, and I don't know yet. I'll let you know in probably about Thanksgiving time. Yeah. I've had a few guys talk to me about a car, and we'll see where it goes.
All right. Rest of the season, you talked about maybe going to Corning this weekend. Are you going to be at the Cornhusker at I-80?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Corning probably Saturday. We talked about going to Hayes, but it's just a long haul, and with the weather looking like it is, might just stay home, or stay close to home, I should say. And then the Cornhusker.
Make sure you thank the sponsors to help you get up and down the road.
Intrum Healthcare, Larson Motors, Taylor Computers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Sardison Racing, Tri-County Roll-Offs, Driveway Saloon, AFCO, Kyle Vanover with Speedway Shocks. He's been a big, big, big help. And my mom and my dad, and my girlfriend, Nicole. And
she should have been at the top of the list, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and my crew guy, Mo, he's been a lot of help. He just started back in about August, and yeah, kid's real good help. Custom Gun Solutions also is a sponsor.
All right, Gunnar Pike, driver the number 25, track champion at Eagle Raceway. Man, again, congratulations. I know that was something you were wanting to get knocked off your list, and big win for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back on the front stretch.
We all have that coworker that runs their mouth off at how great they are. They shot a 5 under par, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, bench press 375, brah. Wouldn't you love to shut them up by schooling them at Joe's Karting? Council Bluffs' premier indoor karting track, professionally designed so each corner is your opportunity to embarrass your coworker. Call Buddy for your next company outing at 712-256-5278. Joe's Karting, white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue next to AMC 17.
Your daughter's signing the finish line. She's in. Your grandpa air guitaring the pre-race concert. He's in. Soldiers saluting the flyover. They're all in. Fans holding their breath before a wreck. In. Drivers trash talking on your headset after the wreck. Definitely in. The Hollywood Casino 400 NASCAR playoff race at Kansas Speedway. Sunday, October 20th. Tickets at kansasspeedway.com. You in?
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole of the front stretch and the home of MAV TV, featuring action from the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Located on Mid-America Drive in Council Bluffs.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. We're only get you turn number 3, and it's time to have another Red Oak Fabrication interview. It's brought to you by the guys down at Red Oak Fabrication on the corner of Highway 48 and Highway 34 in Red Oak, Iowa. Get affordable powder coating for just $275. That's for a bare frame. Yeah, Jeff Ware, track championship at Eagle Raceway. Looking at that going, I can get my chassis powder coated for $275.
That's cheap.
Unfortunately, there's guys that take their chassis over to Des Moines. And what was the bill? $400,
Probably $400 or $500. $400
or $500, yeah.
Sprint car. A sprint car. That's a tiny little chassis.
Yeah.
$275. And the good news is they are in the middle of adding 4 new powder coating bays. So they can super speed your chassis through the powder coating system. You're going to get it back in a couple of days rather than a couple of weeks, and you're going to save money doing it. RedOakFabrication.com for more information on that. Also find out RedOakFabrication.com/Carhartt for how to stay warm at the racetrack during these fall months as we wrap up the 2019 season. Joining us on the radio show now as we continue our Eagle Raceway Track Championship interview tour, Kid Perfect. Near perfect. We have to say near perfect.
Near perfect, yeah, we'll take that.
Because no one's absolutely perfect.
This is the guy that doesn't need a Carhartt because he's been hot
Kid's
all
been
year.
hot.
There you go.
Kid hot. Kid perfect.
Yeah.
Jeff Ware, driver number 83 hobby stock. We say kid perfect because what was the official? What was the ending? 13 out of 15 nights?
If you include the last race when I drove my buddy's car, it was that's what it was.
Yeah, if you include that.
Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, the regular point season was 12 for 14.
12 for 14.
Yeah.
And you went 10 straight before mechanical failure held you back.
Yeah, that was a bad mechanical failure. That was 2 mechanical failures. That was mechanical failure in the rear end and the carburetor on the engine. So we lost it in the front and the back that night.
Of course, you had one little scare a couple of weeks previous to that when we were talking about ride heights or something they were measuring down.
They were measuring some wheelbase.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, they were measuring some wheelbase,
Yes,
which ended up being correct.
We could
just
talk
so you guys
about
know.
the tech officials.
You got to watch
just a
those
moment.
tech guys sometimes.
Yeah. It was just dirt, uneven ground. You know how it goes.
By the way, go back to the September 1st Front Stretch show to find out why Stan made that comment. You can find that on YouTube.
There you go. See? You're stirring the pot again.
No, I'm just
I have
saying,
absolutely nothing against tech officials. Absolutely nothing against nothing whatsoever.
I didn't say you did. I'm just saying
in case kicking me under the table.
In case you wanted to know that the reason behind that comment, the Front Stretch interview from September 1st, you were a major feature on that show. That was
I wasn't. I was just another guy.
Well, you were 3/4 of the show.
Hey, if it matters anything, I heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. Anyways, tech officials, they're a dime a dozen. All right, so we're talking with Jeff Ware, track champion at Eagle Raceway.
Like announcers, dime a dozen.
Track, those are like gold. When you find a good announcer, you keep him and you pay him well.
Yeah, and then they move him.
You pay him well.
And then they move him.
Yeah.
They moved you.
They did move me.
They did move you.
That's all right. I got promoted this year.
I don't know if
it
it was a demotion for me.
Well, I know, and I was like talking to you in the tech inspection line.
Yeah.
Well, you won like 2 or 3 races last year. I think they were all when I was gone.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
Because I didn't talk to you very much last year. 9 straight this year. That's an amazing feat alone. Talking about a track championship at a place like Eagle or one of these harder tracks with all this competition, winning a track championship is hard enough. Going 9 straight in the way that IMCA racks you in the feature is even harder.
Yeah, 9 in a row is definitely crazy, I can tell you.
Coming out of the 12-hole every week.
12-hole every week, yep. 6 throw outside every single night. It never changed.
And what is your feature, 18 laps?
18 laps, yeah.
That's 18 laps, and 18 laps at Eagle that go by.
Fast.
I mean, your feature can end in 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, you green, white, checkered.
And you've got to make your way through the field. One thing I really did enjoy watching about you this year, because I would make a point of it to call the front of the field as always, but then look back and find out where the 83 car is, because you were usually 3 wide with somebody, finding a new groove to get by the slower cars, finding a new way around. But I was really impressed. Maybe you used your bumper once or twice this year, but I didn't see anything that was out of bounds. I thought you drove an incredibly clean time. And I thought maybe once or twice you got used up by a particular driver because I think they were frustrated.
Maybe 6 or 7. Maybe 6 or 7 times.
Maybe the 6 standing out more than the others, but
right.
But used up for sure. But when frustration builds up, I've been on their side before.
Yeah.
If somebody was out there, beating me, night in, night out, I'd build up some frustration and kind of lean on them a little bit. But you know, in the long run, that just kind of benefits me. You know, you got to race your race, and sometimes they're not doing that when they're too focused on trying to block or trying to beat me and just not running where their car needs to be ran.
When somebody flips you off, do you spin them out?
No, I just give it back.
Throw water or anything like that?
Just turn them.
No water.
That's the easiest thing to just turn them.
No, you can't turn them because then they push you to the back.
Oh, that's a good point.
I got to ask you, when a couple of these guys looking for their first feature win, they're out there, they got the lead, maybe 2 laps to go, maybe the white flag, and you pass them and take the win away from them. Do you ever go apologize to those guys after the race? Say, you know, I know how bad you really wanted to get that first win, but come on, man. I got a perfect season going.
Denny Hamlin apologized to Matt DiBenedetto.
Oh, yeah. I did see that. No,
maybe you should put that in your repertoire.
Yeah.
I guess I don't necessarily go up and apologize to them. I just tell them how good of a job they did and how much better they've been and the progress that I've seen them make. And
then you wink at them and say, "But you weren't."
Nah, I give them a pat on the back, and I've been there. I've been there before, and I remember
when Jeff Ware was not at the front of the pack every week.
Well, when Jeff Ware wasn't at the front of the pack, I was running a Ford, and I think I went to Eagle 6 times in a row and got 6th in the B feature 6 times. Never even made an A.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they take the top 4, top 5, depending on.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't even get out of the B.
Yeah. Wow.
6 in a row, I went there.
Let's go back to the night that gave you some serious heartburn. And I've tried to explain what happened that night, but again, I'm very vague on the rules as far as they're concerned with all the different classes. You win the race. Dave Carter ends up finishing 2nd.
Yep.
Come through tech inspection. Pick me up there. What happens?
So they're measuring wheelbase that night, and in a hobby stock, you're allowed an inch difference from the right side to the left side, with 107.5 inches being the minimum. And my left side was 107 3/8. So I was like 3/16 of an inch off.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to move my car, and because all 3 of them were parked in front of me in a straight line, and I was kind of like up on this little hill, and I wanted one of the tech guys to let me move my car, and he wouldn't let me. And so they just DQ'd me right there, and I went up and I talked to Roger, and I said, Roger, just either let me push my car forward or let me go on your scale, give me a fresh chance, a fair chance. Because we all know we don't set these cars up on dirt floors in our garages, Right. I mean, I got scales and level pads, and
Right.
It's concrete, and that's how you set up a car.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you're supposed to check it with the driver in the car, and I wasn't in the car, because you put a driver in a car and that changes a lot of things. That changes your scale numbers.
It's squats.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I just went up to Roger and I said, be fair. I called IMCA, actually, and IMCA said that if it would be fair for me to be on a level surface or let me move my car. And then as soon as we moved my car, we put it on the scales. It checked plus, actually. We were not only 107.5, but we were 107 9/16. So, I mean, we completely changed the whole entire reading by half inch just by being on a level surface.
And the other thing being, depending on how your caster and camber is, the wheel turns just a 16th of an inch.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I told them too. I mean, you always got to kind of argue your points. If the rim's bent or if the bead's kind of laid over and stuff. But I just wanted my fair chance, and I told them just put me on the scale and measure it again. And I even told them, I said, 1 measurement, I won't even argue. And it was perfect.
What I thought was really smart was that you left your car down there when you went back to your trailer.
Yeah, because if you take your car away, then it's done.
I
then they could argue the point that I changed something back at the trailer. So I knew that I had to leave my car down there. And
NASCAR's rule book, it's right in the rule book that any measurement like that's done on a flat surface, whether it's a concrete pad or a scale. And it's also the rule book, the way NASCAR does things, is you set the left side to what the measurement can be, and then measure the right for any variance.
Yep.
So the award, the win went back to you.
Yeah, they gave me the win back.
And I did kind of have to feel for Dave Carter a little bit, because he was one of those guys that was looking for a good win on the year. Maybe not his first win in his career, but looking for a win. He'd been very solid. And
I got it. It's one of them deals where I did apologize to him. I'm one of them guys where you got to earn it, and he did technically get second that night, and I won the race, and
but he got paid
it was
like
all
he
legal.
Won.
Oh, I got paid like I won too.
You got paid like you won also.
And he won. Oh, that's Roger's deal. That's Roger's deal. I got the check. I got the check and the cash.
To my understanding, you both got paid like you won.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, because I did win.
That's a big paycheck.
But it just feels better when you do it yourself. You go out there and win it yourself, and you don't got to per se have it given to you, but he's got a Charger now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know that, but
I didn't know that.
He did. He just bought a brand new Charger chassis.
Is that what you have?
Yeah, that's what I run.
That's the Track Champions chassis of choice.
Absolutely, 3
How
in a row.
about that for a tongue twister?
Yeah.
That is the Track Champions chassis of choice.
There we go. That's
twice
new.
in a row.
That's
Can I do
new.
it a third time? We won't even try.
Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, quit while I'm ahead. That's a very good point. It also has to be a little vindicating because I think that with as fast as you've been all year, to get DQ'd for that hour and a half that you were, maybe 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
That the word spread like wildfire.
It was crazy.
You were a cheater.
It was crazy. I wasn't even back to my trailer yet with my phone ready to call IMCA to get this thing figured out, and I already had messages on my phone like, hey, what happened? What happened? What happened?
Right.
I had to ignore them all until I got it figured out.
And that's got to be the frustrating part is that there is no, in a lot of dirt track fans' minds, there's no difference between being DQ'd and a cheater. If you are one, you are the other.
Yeah.
And there are times that, you guys set these cars up and maybe something breaks, but there's very little give in the rules. That even if you fail inspection for a item or a setting that wasn't an advantage, you're still labeled a cheater.
Yeah, it wasn't even an advantage at all in my case. That was the big thing, but we had it overturned. It was changed.
Right, and it gets vindicated, but
it was good.
The tough thing is that
it was tough.
That vindication is it doesn't spread as fast as the cheating.
Well, then
was.
you're favorite.
Right.
Then you're a favorite.
Right.
It only got overturned because you're a favorite. You're a track favorite. Everybody likes you.
I forgot about
That's
that
tough.
part. Yeah.
That's a tougher one. It's like, oh, you're doing really well right now. They don't want it to stop. They don't want it to stop. I wanted my fair choice with IMCA and the tech officials, and I felt like the tech official in the infield at that night wasn't giving me a fair shot, and Roger gave me a fair shot.
And going on from that night on, at that point you pretty much had the track championship locked up. Minus not showing up for a couple of weeks, you had the track championship done. Was there any thought, let's just take it easy and save the equipment and just have a good time?
No, absolutely not, because at the point when we realized that we were running so good, we're on to bigger and better things at that point. We start off the year just running, and then, sooner or later it just becomes, hey, not only are you leading at Eagle, you're leading at Columbus, you're leading at Albion, you're leading at Lexington, you're now leading state points, you're now leading the nation. And so we just had to keep going and to do bigger and better things, you just got to keep going and keep hustling, and that's what we wanted to do.
We've been talking a lot about Eagle tonight, but you run multiple tracks. You won a lot of times throughout the year, throughout the week. Talk about how the season ended at all those other tracks.
Well, the other tracks, Columbus, I don't know if I ended up with 5 or 6 wins there. I won both nights at the end of the year, the A Memorial. Albion was actually my toughest track, and I don't know why. I won their first 3 in a row, and then I didn't win again until the last 2. I went 8 in a row with nothing. It was seconds and thirds and fourths and sevenths, and it was
championships.
It was good, yeah. I ended up winning the championship. Yeah. And then, of course, Eagle. That was phenomenal. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it again. It'd be crazy if I could.
don't know. I was talking with Stan. I obviously don't know it. Stan could never recall it. Somebody that won
some type
that
of
many features
in a row
in a season.
In a season?
Yeah. The only other guy,
Boston.
I think.
I was thinking Mike Boston for some reason.
Not at Eagle.
No.
Grabowski won a bunch at Beatrice here a couple years ago.
Yep.
I think he might have ran the table down there.
He won the entire season, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 14 or 15 in a row Jordan did.
Yeah. And but
we're talking Eagle.
But still, yeah.
He can have Beatrice. I'm taking Eagle.
That's an equalizer there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd say Eddie Koziski, when he won the weekly championship in 98 or 99, didn't he win 13 out of 15 in the limited late model?
Quite a few.
I think it was 13 out of 15. He broke a rear end one night, and one night he ran second.
Hey, I broke the rear end of mine one night too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Isn't that what snapped the streak? Was the rear end deal? And you actually got it damaged in the heat race.
Yeah, in my heat. Well, yeah, it was in my heat race when a lap car unfortunately come up the track, and I kind of tagged him, and we got put into the wall. And then when we were repairing the car, we just repaired the front end. That we just overlooked the rear end, and it was actually the rear end that was faulty.
Yeah.
How's that Sam Adams treating you? It's not
good.
Mine's
better.
Almost gone.
You started before me, remember? I had to let mine. I'd let the fizz go
I brought
off
my
mine,
big
buddy.
boy pants tonight, which won't bode well for me later. A great season for you. IMCA national title.
It's not 100% official, but IMCA did call me this morning, to be honest.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, they did call me.
So what's not official about it?
And they haven't announced it. They haven't, made it official.
Do they hide the point?
I think they factor in the competition index. That's depending on how many cars you're racing against.
It's bonus points.
Yeah.
So you're allowed a maximum of 40 bonus points,
Yeah.
and I ended up with 39.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I got a 6-point lead over the guy in second. So theoretically, I got like a 16-point lead over him. So it's almost impossible. It is 100% impossible for him. It's just not official.
They're just trying to find
IMCA.
something? They're trying to find something?
No, because you get all the tracks were allowed up until noon yesterday to
Yeah.
send in final changes.
Okay.
And so then obviously after noon yesterday, I had to recalculate everything again.
Got it.
And just to make sure it's 100%.
Jeff Ware, driver of the number 83 Hobby Stock at Eagle Raceway, Columbus, Albion,
Lexington.
Did you go to the Boone Super Nationals?
Yeah, I went to the Super Nationals. I just ran Salina like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
Any
won
more
there.
races on the schedule?
I don't know. We got Hayes coming up in Kansas, but I think I'm actually going to go there and have a good time and hang out with my friends. When you race as much as I do, or as much as some other people do, not just me, it's tough to just hang out and.
I think
and
I've
be
asked
with
you
your
this.
friends.
I've asked you this before. Cornhusker, are you going to go to that at I-80? Are you not a fan of I-80?
No,
It's
I
okay
love
if
it.
you're
No,
not.
I won there last year. I won the Cornhusker Classic
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
No, I won it, and
Okay.
I don't know. I'm thinking about going back, but
Yeah.
we'll kind of see what happens.
Plans for 2020? Oh, sorry, Stan, go ahead.
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay.
Plans for next year?
2020?
You're bringing the Malibu back?
Man, I can't race anything but a Malibu. If you know where Malibu is right now, you tell me. I'll give some good money for one.
yeah.
You need to go-
because I get a car, so
Do you feel like you need to go stock car? Maybe
I want
sprint
to.
car?
Well, I had my chance at a sprint car, but
What your Malibus you're looking for?
I prefer like 80s to 83, just so that way you can use the front suspension off them. But I'd take like a 79, 78, I'd take
Right.
them. But
It's
next year, I don't know. I'd like to go stock car. Roger won't get stock cars though.
And you want to be at Eagle.
Yeah, I absolutely love that track. That track is hands down my most favorite track that I've ever ran.
Would you go
100%.
sport mod?
No. I'm a big fan of stock cars. I like the open motors. Run what you brung. You get a motor option, you get a chassis option, and you run it. It's kind of like theoretically to like a sprint car deal. I know the 305s are definitely maybe more, parallel to like a crate motor, I guess. I'm not sure, but I like stock cars, and I'd love to have stock cars at
I
Eagle.
heard there's a guy that's got a car that he may entertain
somewhat competitive.
driving.
Oh yeah, somewhat
So,
competitive.
If and he could race weekly at Eagle if
Yeah.
he wanted to. Maybe even a road course if you wanted to
Ooh.
get crazy.
Yeah, we did the Roval.
What outside of dirt track have you done? Any dirt bikes? Any?
No, I've raced go-karts. So I've been racing since I was 6. I raced go-karts from when I was 6 until I was 14,
Mm-hmm.
and then 14 on, I've been in a dirt track car theoretically.
Did you ever win the turkey chase?
No turkey chase. I went up on IKF national races, Nebraska Series touring races, in Junior 1 alcohol.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're leaning towards hobbies for 2020.
I don't know.
Why not?
I think so. Yeah, why not?
It's
Why
too
not?
early.
Why
the answer,
not?
But
It's too early.
I'd like to go stock car. That's just kind of what it comes down to. I'd love to be in a stock car.
That's a fun
I
class.
want to. I want to do it
seems like
so bad.
everyone really enjoys that class.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's wild. It's the class, too tough to tame, as some guys say. It's
the
crazy.
throwback class of the 70s.
I love it.
It
yeah,
really is.
I'd really like to be in a stock car, but obviously it's a big, $4,000 crate motor to a $8,000 stock car. Motor is huge.
Yeah. And it's not to say anything bad about the hobby stocks. I do enjoy the hobby stocks. I think the hobby stocks and the stock cars are probably my two favorite classes, especially of the underdog classes that don't get a lot of love.
Yeah.
Because it's most of the time, the guys get out of the car in a tech inspection line or wherever they're at, and they got a big old smile on their face. Because it's still possible
I think
to
it's
have
fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's crazy fun. Yeah. Yeah, both of my best friends still run stock cars, and
Back 12, 13 years ago, the hobby stock class was probably week in and week out the best class that I-80 had. They didn't have a ton of cars, but Jesse Sobbing was in one. Who was that lightning car, the number 7? Was it Taylor? Was that the guy's name?
Tom Myers.
Tom Myers. Yeah, Tom Myers. He's still
Tom
in one.
Myers was there.
Yeah, Tom
Jimmy
Myers still
Nichols
in
was
one.
fast once in a while. There
Yeah.
were 4 or 5 guys. Munson was running
Rick
one.
Munson.
Yeah, Rick Munson.
And
Yep.
I mean, it kind of depended in the feature who got to the point first, because they would run like a chain together 4 or 5 car train going around that track, and whoever got there first would win the race.
Well, we've been talking with Jeff Ware, the track champion at Eagle Raceway in the 83 machine. Don't know what he's going to do next year. We're going to have you on probably. We'll call you for the World of Wheels car show.
All right.
And we'll get your solid plans for 2020. We'll have you back on the show then.
I'll take it.
Talk about some of them guys that help you up and down the road. Some of them
This
sponsors.
is the time we get to spend some time on them, right? Yeah. TNR Auto Repair in Genoa. There's 2 guys there, Troy and Robert. They helped me out crazy. They helped me when I needed it.
How'd they come up with the name of their shop?
Yeah, right? Troy and Robert, TNR, yeah. They're quick thinkers, tell you what. No, I deal with them every day through my work. They do a lot for me. Tubes for my tires.
What do you do, by the way?
So I'm like one of the main, theoretically, installer service specialists for O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What do you mean theoretically?
No, I mean, that's just like my job title, I suppose.
Okay. But you probably do a lot more.
No,
okay,
I don't work very hard.
Let's
not put it. I don't work very hard at all.
This is the radio. You got to build an aura.
No worry here. I don't work very hard at all. My boss even knows it. So, and he's one of my best friends. So it's easy.
All right. So you're okay. So TNR. Auto?
Yeah, TNR. They, tires, trailer tires, and tubes, and they help me out so much. Avenue Bar is a bar. I mean, that's the beer we drink every night when we win. So that's kind of an easy one. Do they serve
Sam Adams?
What's that?
Do they serve Sam Adams?
They probably serve Sam Adams, but I always get cases of Busch Light from them every week. I'd be a customer. You can't go wrong with Sam Adams.
Yeah.
My friend Shane, he helps me out with anything that I need, from tools or bolts and zip ties, random runs to the store and anything like that. My mom and dad, I don't know, Mom doesn't do much, let's be honest there. She just shows up and yells. No, I'm kidding, Mom. But my dad's huge. He works second shift, so it's kind of nice. He gets up at like 11 o'clock every day because he works till 5 or 6 in the morning, and he works on my car while I'm working. So that's definitely a big part. DeWine Mechanical, sandblast my car, sandblast any parts I need before powder coat. Just they're simple. Hine Auto Body, Alan Hine, has a little shop out in town, big shop now I should say, and he helps me out a lot throughout the year, a little bit here, a little bit there. Vincent Madison, same thing. Father-son duo. I love him to death. They help me out a lot, and he's been on the car for a long time. I appreciate him sticking around for as much as he has. My aunt and uncle, Amy and Gary, they helped me out with some tires and some rims throughout the season. Because we put a lot of tires and rims on that race car. It's crazy how many tires we go through. I don't even know how many we got through this year. I appreciate their help. My other buddy, Shane, I call him Chach. But that dude, man, he's incredible. He helps me out so much. He pulled me to Lexington 6 of the 8 times. He does everything. He helps me get my car ready. That dude's amazing. I appreciate him so much. He does just as much work on that car as my dad does, and it's incredible. And Bridget, can't forget Bridget. She'd be mad if I didn't say her name.
Is that?
That's his old lady.
Okay.
She helps me out a lot. She does a lot of the point stuff for me and kind of focuses on like who's on my tail.
Yeah.
And does a lot of digging for me. And
okay. She's your scouting reporter.
Yeah, she's my scouting reporter. BG in Nebraska.
Yeah.
They sponsor me some chemicals and fluids and stuff like that for my race car.
Okay.
Demon Decals. My best friend, hands down, Damon Richards. I've been best friends with him for forever. And,
he's a good driver, too. He needs to get back into the regular.
I keep telling him he's washed up.
You think so?
Well, I don't know. I think so.
You just don't want him out on the track with you.
Man, him and I drive so much alike. It's crazy. Yeah. I feel like if he was racing me at Eagle, if he wouldn't have had so many problems in 2016, it would have been him and I down to the wire for a hobby stock track championship at Eagle.
He's good.
Maybe throw in Roy there, but yeah, dang talented driver.
Yeah.
But everything he does for me wraps my car. Obviously, I got to wrap it myself pretty much and overlay it myself. But
so what does he do?
Well, he sponsors me.
Okay.
But no, he owns Demon Decals. So
okay.
He gives me all the wraps and makes my car look good and he's there for me as well. Helps me pit and keeps tabs on other people and lets me know, and it's great. My buddy Austin, same thing with him. Me, Damon, and Austin, we're all 3 best friends, and we're just all kind of in a circle. Charger chassis, as I mentioned earlier, is definitely one of the biggest keys to my success is having Jamie, the owner, right there behind my back, supporting me and getting me things when I need. When I bent a rear end, when I actually hit the wall at Eagle, that bent my rear end. And so the next day I had to take the rear end out, put a new rear end in it, and then go run Lexington. That was terrifying. I didn't know if I was going to make it. But, he does that, and, he's huge to my success, and I like having success in his car.
All right, Dirk, I think that was the record for the longest sponsor credit in show history.
That's not true because Shannon Anderson at the IMCA National Banquets was crazy long.
On this show.
We'll take it on this one because, like I said, these guys helped me out so much, and I rattle through them week in and week out at the track, and I wanted to give them the attention.
Give them a little bit of love.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
They deserve it. They
You're
helped me out a lot.
going to get a few more listeners than there are butts in the seats at the racetrack.
You're in
Dan
winner's
Taylor
circle
sponsors
enough.
me.
You could just dedicate one race to each one.
Yeah.
One race
That's
to
a
each.
good
I could
point.
dedicate like 2 races to each one.
No, you could. You've got about 12 sponsors there.
I won 29 this year.
Okay. You won 29 this year?
29 races. Yeah, I ran 29.
Good.
4
land.
track championships.
Can I say this too? I mean, it's one thing that obviously you did what you were able to do in the with the wins, but I mean, you went out there and did it against some incredibly stout competition at Eagle Raceway.
Yeah.
And Roy Armstrong of all drivers. I mean, that guy is a legend in the hobby stock division.
I have a lot of respect for Roy. He's definitely probably one of the best ones out there, hands down. And to run against him and beat him night in and night out, it says something. But
hey, you know what? I got one more thing I wanted to ask you. We're running a little bit long on this, so I'm not sure if this
answering
is
it.
going to reach the air. You may not want to. A couple of weeks ago, apparently you caused a little bit of a kerfluffle online.
Tell me about Beatrice.
And was that at Beatrice that happened?
Yeah,
I thought it was
it
at
was unfortunate.
I thought it was at the Tiny Lund.
Nah.
No.
Beatrice.
Okay. So I watched the video clip of this incident coming
And I
off
hope
of
you
turn
saw what
4.
I saw.
Well, I saw a lot of room on the high side.
Thank you.
But I
Thank you.
didn't see the track conditions, so I don't know if the cushion was pushed in.
Nah, there was no cushion.
Okay, so
he
coming
was
back
a man
to
enough
it.
to run the wall.
So coming back to it, you got into an accident with another driver.
Yep.
And caused a pretty big accident on the front stretch.
No, he caused it. I didn't.
Well, it caused.
It caused. There we go.
It caused quite a bit of an accident on the front stretch. He was very upset, posted the video online. And, I mean, I understand that I'm here with you. I'm more of your friend than I know him, although I have nothing against him.
Yeah.
I felt like there was at least a car width, if not a car width and a half, away from the line.
Yeah.
So it felt like to me like his strategy was to pinch you down, and you didn't have the room to stay down.
Right. You're exactly right. So there was like 2 or 3 laps prior to that he kept pinching me down and pinching me down and pinching me down because obviously he didn't want me to get that run up towards the wall so that way I could get into the corner and pass him. And he actually about spun the car out going into 1 and 2 on that same lap, which wasn't on the video. And yeah, he pinched me down and I moved up and we bumped a little bit. And then weirdly enough, his wheels just turned left pretty aggressively. And it just messed up his whole car.
Is what happened there, because is your sister Amanda?
Yes.
Okay. It's okay. Because I tell you, you got to pay her for being your public defender, quite frankly. Because she was all over social media fighting back for you. Well, it's about time you got to the finish line. That's cute.
Usually I get there first.
Not when Dan Taylor's involved.
Oh, there we
when it
go.
comes to Sam Adams and Dan Taylor, you're
right,
never
all
going to
right.
finish first.
All right.
We got a whole other half a loop tube to go, brother. But I mean, she came to your defense, and you're one of the few guys I know that doesn't have social media.
Nope.
So you never saw the firestorm that was happening on social
I
media,
saw
but
it.
she came to your total defense.
I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah,
But I
saw
mean, it was. But you never really. I mean, I give you credit for that because it's tough to not be on social media these days.
Yeah.
But you're completely off of it.
People hate winners.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all there is to it. People hate winners. You know, when they win, it's fine, but when somebody else wins, it's bad. And then when somebody else wins as much as I win, then it's worse.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it comes down to.
Was this
that
the
dude
year
thanked
that
me for being a national champion?
Yeah. Was
I
this
didn't even
year
understand
was
it.
this year worse than any other year as far as like backlash and maybe some hatred?
No.
Because you won so much?
No,
No.
by far not. No.
Really?
Nah, I used to be an aggressive driver.
Okay.
I I cleaned things up a little bit.
All right.
Well, because I was in that frustration part. You know, I kept blowing up motors, wrecking my car. You know, so I take my aggression out on the track. You know, towards some other people, and I was I was in the wrong, and now I don't have to do that, and it's good.
Well, I think one thing is you've persevered, just like many champions have through the years. Everybody didn't start out winning them all their first
You're
year.
exactly right.
You got a lot. You paid a lot of dues to get to the point you're at right now. Just the same as when we talked to Gunnar. Gunner's got a lot of laps, you know, to get to the point he's at. You've done the same thing, and to persevere and to keep improving to reach the pinnacle that you're at right now, you deserve it. Bottom
you know,
line.
and I don't want to pat my own back, but that's kind of how I think too. Is I've done this for a long time, and I've had a lot of bad years, and to have a very successful year it's good. It feels good.
And usually, the competitive guys and the winners, they're the guys that are putting in a lot of hours during the week.
Oh yeah.
You know, like people say, races are won and lost in the shop.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
that could be the difference
100%
between
true.
winning 13 out of 15 and winning 1 out of 15.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
You know.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time.
Jeff Ware, driver the number 83 at Eagle Raceway, Beatrice Speedway,
Columbus,
Nope.
Albion.
Columbus, Albion.
Columbus out. Okay, my
Eagle,
bad.
Lexington.
Legal. Okay. Way more tracks than I can ever remember. I want to thank you for giving me so much to edit down because there's no way I can air 32 minutes of this.
Yes,
But you can always catch the whole interview on the web.
Yes, you
There we
can.
go. That's what
Thank
you
you,
need to do.
Stan. I owe him $5. Play that. Somebody, Dirk, will you take care of that for me? Give him for
Thank
his
you for the Oktoberfest,
Hey, is
by
this
the way.
recording?
Anytime. Anytime.
Is this recording?
Yes. It's recording, sir.
Jeff, congratulations.
Thank you, Stan. I appreciate
Hell of
it.
a
Thank you.
year. Follow Jeff Ware. Do you even have a fan page?
I do, yeah. There's like a Jeff Ware Racing Facebook page.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that my mom, my sister, somebody out there runs it.
Somebody runs it?
Somebody runs it.
You going to get your girlfriend to run it?
She might run it.
Okay. Jeff, I appreciate having you on the show. Sorry it's the first time. Should have had you on a few years ago.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad about that one for you.
Well, it's a pretty good
Not for
hike.
me, for you.
I like you, but
Pretty
I don't
good
like you
hike
that
from
much.
Columbus, though, yeah.
Make sure you tell everybody that we had this deal worked out that every night that I won, you came and talked to me.
Of course I
And we
did.
went
I
like
always went through
9 in a row.
Yeah,
and
I know.
then-
I got tired of talking.
And then he had to skip a night.
Yeah.
I think the night that he skipped, when I hit the wall,
That was
you
the
were
night-
not
yeah,
there, dude.
that was the 10th night.
Oh, man. When I
That's
got back
the
to my
reason
trailer,
why.
I looked
See?
at my dad, and I was
See?
like, Dan
Hey.
wasn't here. That's what
I
it
was
was.
there.
Yeah, Stan was there.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back on the front stretch.
As summer winds wind down, those chilly nights at the racetrack are just around the turn. Stay warm while looking good, cheering on your favorite driver with Carhartt from Red Oak Fabrication. Since 1889, Carhartt has proven their mettle from the trenches of World War I to the toughest job sites today. Browse the large selection at the Red Oak Fabrication's Carhartt store and get $5 off pants until September 29th. RedOakFabrication.com/Carhartt or at the corner of North 3rd and East Grimes in Red Oak.
Defending NASCAR champ Joey Logano is in. Last year's race winner Chase Elliott is in. Pit crews racing against the clock in. Drivers in the lead, drivers on the bubble, and drivers that come out of nowhere definitely in. Oh, and sports fans who live for the playoffs, they're all in. The Hollywood Casino 400 playoff elimination race at Kansas Speedway, Sunday, October 20th. Tickets at kansasspeedway.com. You in?
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you white knuckle racing by the river bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Just about ready to wrap this up. Turn 4 brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. Make sure you get over Tuesday night for all-you-can-eat wing night and our second edition of the interviews. This time we're going to be focusing on I-80 Speedway drivers and track champions. So we filled up the schedule with all the drivers that can make it. Stephen Oakes and Josh Leonard are both having surgery tomorrow or Tuesday between the two of them, so they aren't able to make it over. So those two aren't going to make it, but Sean Harker, Ryan Jenkins, Shane Stutzman, Luke Ramsey, and I know I'm forgetting one more, said that they were going to be Jacob Brown. They're going to make it over to the interview. So we got 5 of them scheduled already. Stu Snyder, sprint car driver throughout the area, said he's going to try to swing by. We're going to try to reschedule Billy Lloyd that night, so we'll just see what goes on. Billy Lloyd, flagman at Eagle Raceway, that decided to retire at the end of this season. We'll see how long those interviews go. We went a little bit long with what we do, 4 interviews or 5 interviews?
4 interviews in 3 hours.
Yeah, it went a little bit long, and you kind of heard it there a little bit.
No, we ended up with 5.
Yeah, the Jeff Ware interview, I trimmed that up as much as I possibly could. I think we got it down to the on-air version, lasted about 20-some minutes, but it was 38 minutes when I started editing it on Thursday morning, and you could hear the entire interview, trimmed up just a little bit for clarity, when we release the entire show on YouTube coming up this morning in probably just a few minutes. So get that on YouTube.com, and you can also find it on our Facebook page. We'll share it there.
How much did you have to trim Gunnar's down? Because I know we were over 30 minutes on his.
No, we weren't. We were only 14 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did it seem like so long?
I think because it took us so long to get started. He sat up there for a while as we were trying to get the levels
checks.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
So I think
that might be it.
I think that's the reason why it felt like it went longer. Today's race at Dover, coverage is on NBCSN and MRN starting at 1 o'clock. That is also when all the picks are due, today at 1 p.m. This race last year, Chase Elliott picked up the win out of the 9th starting position. Denny Hamlin came home second, Joey Logano in third, Eric Jones in fourth, and Kurt Busch with the top 5. Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Daniel Suarez, your top 10. Bad days for Jimmy Johnson, finished 36th. Clint Bowyer, 35th. Alex Bowman, 28th, who's one of the the playoff drivers this year. So we want to make sure not repeat that 28th place finish. Looks like he was involved in an accident with 4 laps to go, and it looks like we went into overtime 4 additional laps on this race. So Dover Raceway, this is it's a little 1-mile track, tough track to race, and it can be a very intense track. And a lot of drivers, you may be thinking going into today's race, this is one of them. They can relax just a little bit because the playoff drivers have 3 races to get into the next round. But I think this is a very difficult round with Talladega and Kansas involved in it. So they're going to have to be on their game today. And if they can pick up a win, you better believe they're going to do what they can.
Yeah, they're gonna try and win this race, and I mean they're gonna press from the beginning. They're not going to cruise around. They're going to try and get to the front so they can try and stay out of trouble.
Stage points are critical. Bonus playoff points are huge. Looking at the standings as we go into today's race, Kyle Busch has 46 bonus playoff points that will follow him they followed him into this round, they'll follow him into the next round. And basically, he has to have 2 bad races in order for those bonus points to not to be negated and then go on to the third race. Those 46 bonus playoff points that he's acquired throughout the year are instrumental to get him into that 4th round.
Yeah, well, no, he doesn't. He's to the point now that he doesn't get 2 bad races. He gets 1. That's 1 race. 46 points is a normal afternoon for Kyle. He gets some stage points and a top 5 finish. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's got 1 race in the bag, basically. So he can crash out at Talladega. He can screw something up, even though he's usually pretty good at Dover. So nobody else has that luxury.
If he has a bad Dover and he goes out and wrecks early at Talladega, the pressure is on at Kansas.
Oh, it's well passed on.
And he's been hot and cold at Kansas. Recently, he's been incredibly hot when all of a sudden he flipped the script. I think he went there in May 2 years ago and couldn't find his way around the racetrack, wrecked on his own, spinning out all by himself, and then going into winning the race the next time they went back and absolutely dominated that racetrack.
But yeah, if he has trouble here at Dover, you're going to see him probably team up with either Truex or Hamlin. Mm-hmm. And they're going to play it smart at Talladega. Mm-hmm. They're going to worry about trying to win the race at the end. They'll run around the back. So I think you're going to see him put out a big effort here. Martin Truex got his first win at this track way back when, and so the Gibbs cars are all good. The Gibbs cars are all mm-hmm. good here. Kevin Harvick's very good here. Jimmy Johnson's won a lot of races here, so I mean he could come up and take the win and be a spoiler somewhere down the line.
Another aspect to this is any one of the playoff guys. Doesn't matter if they're Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., or if they're Alex Bowman. They want to pick up the win today. Obviously, because of the customary, they want to win every race, but that punches their ticket into the next round. They don't have to worry about what happens at Talladega or Kansas. If Kyle Busch can win today, he's golden into the next round. If Alex Bowman can win today, no longer has to worry about maybe getting spun out by getting revenge on any of the guys that he's frustrated. If they can can win today, they're into the next round guaranteed, and they don't have to worry about Talladega, which is the heaviest race in this next 3 races.
Well, if they don't spin, if somebody's going to spin Bowman, this is the race that's going to happen, because this is the race.
You don't do it at Talladega or Kansas, is what
you don't really do it at Talladega. You can do it at Kansas, but this is the track that you can lose it very easily. I mean, this is a track where if you're on the inside of them and all of a sudden you wreck, hey, that's the way Dover works. So
that's going to do it for us today. Make sure you head down to Quaker Steak and Lube. Catch all the action for today's race at Dover on NBCSN and MRN. That will be on the big screens along with all the football action. And then join us Tuesday night as we're going to interview track champions from I-80 Speedway and a couple of extra drivers and people throughout the area. And if you want to come out, you want to do an interview with us, we've got some time. We'll be more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with you. We're going to get set up at 6 o'clock. Excuse me, we're going to set up at 5 o'clock and then start recording at 6 o'clock. That's at Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs. I want to say a big thank you again to Kansas Speedway for helping us bring the Pick'ems contest together and get your tickets for the Hollywood Casino 400 and the entire weekend of racing at Kansas Speedway by calling 866-460-RACE or going to kansasspeedway.com. For Dirk Houston, I'm Dan Taylor. Join us next weekend as we'll sit down with Adam Gullion and Anthony Roth, both regular drivers at Eagle Raceway. Thanks a lot for listening. We'll do it again next weekend on The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590.
Defending NASCAR champ Joey Logano is in. Last year's race winner Chase Elliott is in. Pit crews racing against the clock in. Drivers in the lead, drivers on the bubble, and drivers that come out of nowhere definitely in. Oh, and sports fans who live for the playoffs? They're all in. The Hollywood Casino 400 Playoff Elimination Race at Kansas Speedway, Sunday, October 20th. Tickets at kansasspeedway.com. You in?
The official watering hole of the Front Stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95, and the lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
Hey, look at that. You're sitting on your couch playing Halo, Madden, or NASCAR while your friends are at Joe's Karting. Each lap is an adrenaline-filled, heart-pumping, white-knuckle experience that you can only get at the Metro's largest indoor karting track. Eco-friendly Honda engines rip you around the professionally designed road course at breakneck speeds. Can you reach the 14-second lap bracket? There's only one way to find out. Put the controller down and get to Joe's Karting, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs next to Quaker Steak and Lube.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.